Hello everyone, it's Fox and Talon back again for more Eyes on the Prize, and this time we might finish a story.
I'm Fox.
That's a she-her.
That's Talon.
I'm a he-him.
Yeah.
That's me. They call me Pronoun Distributor.
That's not who I... God damn it. Can we perfectly start talking at the same time again? A third time in a row.
That's why you always get rock. No, the pronoun distributor joke was going to be, that's why I keep on using pronouns for Rowan, despite the fact that at no point have you ever explained them.
Actually, it's been mostly me who's been doing that.
Ah, well, I feel like I'm the one messing up.
Oh.
Anyway, to help you catch up, last session, oh my god, I'm getting back into the DM mode, but...
Yeah, there's a previous video of this. You should probably watch that if you're going to watch this.
Yeah,
because nothing will make any fucking sense without it.
Well, I don't know, you could probably guess, interacting with us for more than 10 minutes, that the large, hairy, homunculus girl who throws people through windows is my character, and the svelte, gender-ambiguous spy who is trying to run a con on her is yours. But, you're right, it will help to have the other video, and besides, we're awesome, so you should definitely pay attention to that.
Yeah, I'd never play a human-scale moose girl.
It's true, and I would never play a svelte, subtle, cunning person. 'Cause, you know...
It's rare for you to play a full-on, like, Otokonoko.
It's, certainly since we've been... basically pre-pandemic. Before my entire TTRPG space moved online, I was a lot more towards the typical shonen protagonist builds.
Well,
but
I mean, like, you've never done my thing of just straight up using the girl model in an MMO and going, that's a boy. Because I wanted to wear high heels. Now fuck off.
I have some news for you about both Final Fantasy and City of Heroes, again, since the pandemic.
Ah, well, Final Fantasy's different. I mean, they give you a whole mod framework just for making bodies.
Yeah, and you need to make it do a lot of work to make the game worth playing. But we're not talking about Final Fantasy XIV right now. We're talking about a good game, and that is Eyes on the Prize. Fox is playing Rowan, my beloved, conscripted into a fake marriage paramour.
I'm from Spy Family.
And I'm playing Ilya, who is desperately trying to get any excuse to get on a boat with some supplies to bolt in the night.
She's from my average D&D campaign.
Imagine one of those Moose Tauren that somehow got a... I'm playing Grenda. I'm playing Grenda from Gravity Falls as the worst conspirator in the world.
This is a House of Grenda appreciators.
Yes. And that's how you know when a character is terrible, because there are only two characters I can think of who ever make fun of Grenda's voice, and they're both bastards. Anyway, yeah, we've had Gravity Falls and Spy Family and Final Fantasy. Shall we start talking about the game?
Sure. You're doing a last time on?
In our last session, Ilya and Rowan went to the first big coming out party since their wedding. A event that definitely happened, but the events and causes are a little hazy, in that neither Fox nor I are entirely agreed on what actually did happen, but the point is that they're out. They're showing the world, look at how great we are, this princess has finally gotten married to that, and that degree of succession and inheritance is all going to be sorted out.
Who's the princess in that sentence, and who's the that?
I don't think anyone knows whether to call Rowan a prince or a princess.
Well, everyone knows you don't call Rowan that.
I do feel like this is all happening in Ilya's backyard.
Is Ilya actually a princess?
Yeah.
No, I thought she was just a noble.
No, adventure princess idiot.
Oh, well. I mean, that puts a different kind of weight on this marriage. You probably should have told me that up front.
I have 11 older siblings. There's the heir and the spare 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 and the spare. You don't have to worry.
There are certain social expectations.
I'm sure I mentioned it in one of the letters somewhere. Narrator voice, she did not.
And there's no universe in which Rowan didn't look this up.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that
Rowan...
was definitely Fox going, you should have told me.
Rowan This is the thing. There is an in-character for Rowan, and then there is the in-character Rowan. Which is to say, Rowan might be like, oh, you're a princess? You never mentioned, because that character has obsessively read all the letters. But the actual spy that is Rowan knows full well that Ilya's a princess.
I have fucking folders of dossier on you.
And is at this point possibly just giving her a bollocking about, in all those letters, you never mentioned that you're a princess. Like, you just take it as read that everyone around you knows.
If I was a real spouse, I'd probably be very upset by that. We also haven't really established how much each of them is in on the other's version of the plan. Like, Ilya definitely doesn't know about the spy family bullshit, right?
No thoughts, head empty.
Exactly.
She thinks Rowan's from the opposite side of the country to which Rowan is. Like, there's that we mentioned that there's a brewing possible civil war between the east and west halves of the kingdom.
Yeah.
And Ilya thinks that Rowan is from the west half of the kingdom, and she's from the east half. Sorry, Ilya thinks that her side, the east side of the kingdom, is where Rowan is from, and that Rowan is from the east coast of the east half of the country.
Oh.
Whereas I suspect Rowan is very much not.
Probably. I mean, real Rowan or fake Rowan?
These are the questions that you have to put up with, and I don't.
I mean, they're going to become your problems.
Oh, eventually.
When we got married, you took on all my problems.
But how does Ilya solve her problems?
Oh, no.
I'm just saying.
I have to quickly take these problems back from my spouse. Oh, no. Oh, no.
There is a non-zero chance that one of your contacts is going to get headbutted just because I think I'm defending your honor.
That guy's been following you.
Yeah. He's really sus.
Frankly, anyone who gets spotted by this oaf deserves what they get.
Well, the thing is, Ilya, you only need to be like 1% smarter than Ilya to think that you are 1,000% smarter than Ilya.
What a way to describe that. I mean, you're not wrong.
There is a plague in game systems of using D&D as like the 0-0 on a graph to centralize all information, but undeniably, it's very easy to visualize her as this character with like all the physical stats ramped to the roof and the mental stats in the toilet, and then just an oddly high charisma. So, at the end of the last session, after Rowan did some sneaking around and negotiating and haggling with people about information that they didn't know they were giving up, a house where paperwork was being investigated was mentioned, and then before Rowan could arrange to go there, Ilya offered to take Rowan on a honeymoon to a mountain lodge.
Yep, that sure has happened.
Uh-huh.
I think Rowan definitely does come from the west, because we're taking a very northern hemisphere kind of design to this kingdom.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, her name is Ilya, for fuck's sake. I think we can imply that the east is kind of Rousseau.
Yeah, I thought for a moment there you were going to start going like, that's in the west. I'm like, yeah, Russia is in the west to us.
Not what I was going to say. No.
Which does, of course, cast the mental image for me of seeing Australia as the east versus west divide. Like, yes, the mysterious wilderlands of Perth.
Don't fuck with the black swans.
That for all of you out there who aren't Australian, that is a good joke. That is a joke that if you use it in polite company, there'll be people going, yeah, very, 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 very clever. That's a good one.
Also, not horny or lesbian-y.
Yeah, weird, isn't it? Anyway, the point is that Rowan's plan to go get a giant bundle of paperwork to dive into Scrooge McDuck and wallow in the secrets, I'm sure.
Yes, that's what I do.
That's how spies work.
Yes. That's my job.
Has been interrupted by Rowan's beloved wife throwing her arms around those tiny, skinny little shoulders and negotiating to take this poor, frail seaside character up into the frozen mountainsides, beautiful pine forests to ski and indulge in a lodge with hot drinks and good food. And of course, because I'm there will be a party. There'll be an event happening, and other people will come because, I may be the 11th, 12th in line. Oh wait, I remember what Antja said to Grandma. I'm the 11th in line.
I'm going to become a corpse. I'm going to die and become a snow mummy.
Well, the alternative is that it might well be that Rowan already knows snow-frozen places so well because that's where Rowan's actually from.
Yes, definitely. I definitely don't come from the far west coast. We have established seaside estates, so...
Are you telling me that Rowan told the truth in those letters? I'm so touched. We've established seaside estates. That could have been a lie.
Real Rowan has always been very honest in the letters. Real Rowan is a cute little bean. Real Rowan wouldn't lie to anyone.
That's very good. So, the way this game works is that there is a set of prompts in the book that you get access to by drawing cards out of a deck. It's a standard deck of playing cards, and sometimes they will call upon you to roll a dice, sometimes there'll just be a moment that happens and you need to negotiate it for the story, and that's how it goes. We run until one of our stats hits 10, and then, I believe...
Staring down the barrel of a real short game.
That's true, but the joy of this kind of game is that we can just keep going. There is, in fact, a final prompt for that on the boiling point pages. But the nature of the game is basically that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be pulling cards, looking at prompts, and then when that prompt has run its course, we're going to pull another one. Sometimes it will be a challenge, and the way we've been handling it is that I pull a card, then Fox pulls a card.
Yeah, why not?
But Fox can pull a card first.
I
I'm a
can't remember
feminist.
who pulled the last one, so...
Me neither.
So I should do?
You should do.
Alright, what do we got here? I got a 8 of spades.
Alright, the 8 of spades is... Reveal something about yourself that will surprise your spouse. Something completely at odds with your public-facing persona. Something, dare we say, gap moe.
Talon! You first.
You know that one weeb who learned 10% more Japanese than anyone else and therefore corrects everyone?
Why am I in this picture? I don't like it.
Exactly. Anyway, so I suspect what we have here is the train chuffing along to the lodge. Of course, once we get to the train station, we'll have to disembark. The bags will get loaded onto the what's the name for those little houses on cables that go up and down the mountain? And I've lost the word for them.
You talking about cable cars?
Those things, yeah.
Okay.
Little box, you get it, and it goes up. And the thing is, you don't know if this is Talon stumbling over a word he can't think of, or if this is Ilya being a moron. But these are choices.
I should make him draw a face on his finger again. This is going to get confusing.
Aha! The pen, face has been called for. All right, here we go. Now, of course, this is going to be of no use to the audience, but as needs must when the devil vomits on your eider down. So...
He's drawn on his finger with a gel pen. I can't see a thing.
Sharpie has been called. Riveting content of hearing me scribbling on my finger.
Yeah, sorry, I had to explain that the first time didn't work, because otherwise they would have had no idea why I made you do it again in silence.
Uh-huh. Anyway, I think that they get a train, it goes out to the mountains, during which time Rowan can probably send messages and interceptions. We probably have cables and stuff like that.
For the cable cars.
Well, yeah. I don't know, when did those get invented? Can't have been earlier than the 1700s, right? I'm not sure we had a Switzerland back then.
We're not in the real world.
It's true. Point is, I don't know if these things are wildly out of type with our tech, and I don't care. The point is, we get to the train station, stuff gets loaded out, we head up the mountainside, there's this wonderful, slow gondola ride up the hills.
Oh, gondola, that's another word that works for cable car. There you
great.
go.
And we, but not one with an Italian guy on it singing while poking the ground, because that would be a very long stick.
I kind of want that now.
The fiction is ours to play with. And along the way up into the thing, as they're heading all the way up to the Chateau. I almost called it a chapeau. Up to the chateau, where no doubt there are already nobles getting the party started, because that's what you want, a lot of fancy white people. And Ilya leans over wearing, no doubt, like just layers of furs. Just like she looks like a bear that
have become bear.
She looks like a bear people have draped fabrics over. And she leans over and she looks at Rowan and she just like extends the arm and folds in to the whole coat and just like thump in on the bench. Moves her arm. What?
I was just saying I couldn't talk.
No, sorry.
I had a mouthful of fur.
Well, I just don't want you being uncomfortable. And there is the gap moe of Ilya, which is she can express momentary care and affection for someone by being nice to them, despite the fact that she will otherwise headbutt things. There. We good?
I guess so. I don't feel like that's too at odds with her normal... Like, she seems like a cheerful, charming person who's actually fairly nice if you don't challenge her.
You're right. I was actually trying to smuggle away the card that you pulled that's your problem.
It could be my problem.
Go for it.
We just didn't have, like, a scene yet, so I didn't know what to do with it.
And now we do. Do you want to do anything in the gondola, or do we get to the party?
Well, the game is designed to be played at the party, so
yes.
I think we get to the party.
Alright, then. In which case, the second she gets to the door, she throws off 3 layers of coats and reveals that she's wearing like a tank top kind of arrangement of a princess gown.
I think Rowan actually gets covered in coats. Like, literally cannot escape. Just kind of stuck under 3 layers of coat that are designed for a 7-foot-tall moose.
As Ilya stops and grabs someone and goes, I need to introduce you to my wife. Stop, pause, look. As the other person goes, wife? And then... piss off, I'll handle this. And she gestures them away and then starts peeling the coats off Rowan. I thought I could hand you these and you take them to the cloakroom. That's what happens, right?
Perhaps to somebody a little closer to your height.
Only people my height carry the coats to the coat room?
Only people your height carry your coats anywhere.
Huh.
Look, I don't know what to tell you. I have this body, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Huh. I really shouldn't have done that, should I? Like, this isn't your job.
Oh, well, certainly not if you're assigning me wife, but...
What should I be calling you?
Let's not talk about that. Let's find a footman.
Okay. And off we go, and Fox continues to do nothing with the prompt.
The moment's not right. I can't find it, you know?
Yeah, well, I'm sick of the dilly-dallying, so I'm going to pull a
make
card.
an inappropriately sexual comment, but then you said something else about the cloakroom before I could get in.
I thought we had this conversation in the car. I can't do a Nick Offerman. All right. The 2 of diamonds. There's something about your spouse that really reminds you of someone you knew when you were younger. What is it? Where is that old friend now? What's Rowan doing?
What is Rowan doing? Schmoozing, probably. Like, once the coats are no longer a problem, I think they generally feel it's their job to talk to people and make sure nothing seems untoward. Like, to act how you're expected to act in these situations. One of us has to.
Alright, well.
Did you have a sensible friend when you were wee?
There's this moment where she's looking at Rowan as she puts down the tray of canapes from the table, now that it's empty, and considers...
Ah, delightful. Look off to the side as if you're gonna... Yeah. There you go, there's your out-of-character moment. I just landed late.
Rowan expressed an opinion. Oh
Just
my god.
A moment of sheer disgust with a rich person.
Well, Rowan catches the moment where Ilya is looking over in that direction, and eventually she swaggers over and she taps her fingers at the bottom of the drinks tray she's holding, on its side. It's empty now, and she says,
Why are you being a waiter?
I'm not.
Why do you have a drinks tray?
This is my plate.
Rowan just turns away for a moment.
You
Okay, Rowan turns back.
you know, it's a little thing like you, but it reminds me of the just the thing you're doing here, the way you're bopping around. It reminds me a lot of I don't even know what to call him. He was my mother's boy, is what we called him. Like, his job was just to follow her around and take notes.
Oh. Yes, that's what you would mean by that.
Yeah. What else? I mean,
Oh, nothing.
certainly none of my brothers. God.
No, not brothers. Nope.
Those were
Certainly not.
those were her children.
Also not what I was thinking.
And some of them are still alive, which, continue. That's why 11.
Some of them not.
Oh yeah, no.
How many brothers have you lost?
Well, let's see. Lost indicates that we don't know where they are. And I don't know if that quite applies.
It's just a polite way of saying dead, alright?
Oh, well, Damascus is definitely dead. You might remember... You might have seen this in the news. Have you ever heard of the disastrous second, third, and fourth campaign of Damascus?
That's a lot of disasters.
Yeah, this whole East-West thing, I'm not entirely sure what happened, but I do know that my brother Damascus attempted to retake a city on the border between the two different areas, and I've forgotten what the term for it is. It's an IGA. They're like, who has the groceries? I don't remember, but but he marshaled. Is that the term? He militiaed. He got people together to try and retake this place that he thought wasn't being properly respectful, and it didn't go well for him, and then it didn't go well for him, and then it didn't go well for him, and the fourth time it didn't go well for him, they mailed him back in bits. And that's kind of why there's some tension. But Mother doesn't want to go to war over that because, he was just Damascus. Anyway, so the thing that I was thinking about is how you remind me of him, is most people, when they're listening, they're just waiting for you to stop talking so they can continue saying what they were saying. And you don't ever say anything. You're just like, haha, go on. It's really adorable. It's like you're really paying attention to things that people say.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
Haha, go on.
Well, I can't really say go on after that. It was very fun. I guess that's a thank you.
You want a prompt? You want to bail yourself out of this one with a prompt?
Sure.
Deck's right there.
Yep. I have a king again.
Aha! We have our first challenge in the marital trials.
This king brought a shovel.
Alright, now let me see if I can do this smoothly. We need a D12.
You definitely can't do... Oh, shit! He did it smoothly!
Alright, we have
I apologize for doubting you.
number 7. So that means I should be able to get rid of you now. Thank you, Sophie's Dice. This program's really good. Okay. Trial. By friend group. Obviously.
Neither of us has any friends.
I have associates, and at the lodge I do have friends.
Are they hunting dogs?
Shut up. Obviously, the ones who care about you want to see who the hell has swept their friends so thoroughly off their feet, and they have high standards. Each partner should roll a d8. The lower roll is the one being interrogated. If you roll doubles, a combo troop from both your social circles has arrived for inspections, and token changes are doubled. Ready for the die roll?
What are tokens?
These. Affection,
Oh, that's
plot,
right. Those
suspicion.
are meant to be like
the
counters or
stats.
something.
The stats that were actually like, yeah, we good?
Yeah, okay, so before we do this, I'm calling right now that Rowan is definitely one of those cute, sweet, innocent girls who has like a gaggle of idiot men who consider it their job to defend her honor.
A bevy. A charm. Oh, wait, no, of men? Ooh.
But I don't think Rowan is girl followers. I'm not sure that Rowan is a girl, but Rowan reads femme.
Which
Which is why people keep accidentally calling them her.
The thing that occurs to me is the way I'd heard the anime Honey Lemon Soda described, which is this is a class full of extroverts adopting an introvert, and it's like that might be how Rowan has cultivated this. Of like, can I find just the most outgoing idiots to keep as a social buffer?
Oh, I don't mean fake Rowan. I mean real Rowan. I mean sweet Rowan.
Oh, okay.
Because she's so nice.
Oh,
right?
That's right. And this Rowan stepped in. So there's 3 Rowans all afoot. Okay,
What?
cool. What?
What are you talking about?
I have clearly lost the plot here. How about you explain for me and the listener?
I mean, mystery person whose name isn't really Rowan, who is my character,
Yep.
is away about it. Actual Rowan that they've taken the place of was a very sweet, innocent,
Right.
femme presenting cinnamon roll.
Right.
And therefore has a bunch of men who consider it their business to be around them.
Okay, so they've been like pen pals.
Probably, yes. They
Yeah.
certainly wouldn't, like, if they were physically where she was, they wouldn't be here now. Unless they came special for the occasion. Let's let the dice decide.
Well, what I was figuring was that it would be a blob of your contacts all masquerading as actual like fancy people.
That's also distinctly possible, but
All right.
I suppose if it happens that way, I mean, let's let the dice decide once again. But if it happens that way, it's probably a case of you're getting too attached. We need to do something about this. Look at that 9 in your affection pool. What is this bullshit?
Uh-huh. And the green die is Fox's character. And
No.
What? Okay.
The cream dice that matches the overall aesthetic of this game board and book is my dice because I said I wanted to match everything. You went and made a green dice.
No, that's fair enough. I guess I just assumed it was yours because you actually own dice that are that color.
I do not. That is a much more like grassy green kind of dice than any of the ones I own.
Right.
My dice are a real sort of blue-green.
Oh yeah. There's a great distinction there.
There is a huge distinction. It's a fully different green. Many languages have completely different words for those two greens.
Are we ready to roll?
Yes. Don't step to me on color knowledge, boy.
All right. Let's see. The lower roll is the one being interrogated.
No, well, it's you after all, so none of my theories on Rowan's gaggles matter.
Yes, they completely matter, Fox.
No?
Your gaggle is interrogating Ilya.
Oh! Yes, that makes sense. Alright, well, do you want to get mobbed by countryside minor noblemen bozos who really seem like something Ilya deals with every day? Or do you want to get mobbed by suspicious upper-class spy people trying to work out if Rowan has actually fallen for your dumbass.
Well, at this roll, it doesn't matter, because what's going to happen is I'm going to go badly at this.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Why is that?
Because the stats that we get as a result of this is -2 affection, +2 suspicion.
Oh, it's just fixed?
Yep.
Well, what do you think is more interesting, though?
I mean, your choice. You can't make one, can you?
I was definitely not asking you because I could go either way, and I wanted you to make a decision for your character.
Mm-hmm. I was hoping you would contribute. Badly expressed. And this is a table, a learning mode of the table. I was hoping to see what you contributed. Not, I was hoping you contribute. I was hoping you would contribute makes it sound like, well, Fox isn't doing any work here. And that's rude, and I don't mean it that way, and I'm sorry.
I'm trying to not make decisions for you.
Whereas, but in this case, the decision is the characters you're surrounding Rowan with, the character
Something
in the world.
we can both have input into. I was asking for your opinion.
Yep. And I said, either will do. And you're not happy with that, which I suspect means you'd rather I just take the choice off you. Yeah?
I mean, I gave it to you for a reason, but,
well, Ilya's...
spy ones, I guess.
Okay, well, Ilya is hanging out with her friends, which is to say, she's in the pit with a whole bunch of hunting dogs, because you were one step ahead of me on that front. I was going to have her go full Disney princess and be like talking to a moose outside, but the hunting dogs is actually way better.
Oh, I don't know, I like wildlife. Bear is friends with bear.
I don't think that it would be wise for her to bring a bear close to the lodge. After all, someone might shoot at it.
I could just say game recognizes game.
Oh,
just joke there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was going to say elk attracts elk and be like attracts like.
That's
and,
a cryptic
that's
crossword
joke
puzzle
there.
right there.
But game is better.
Yep. No, in this case, it's that she steps outside momentarily to, you just want some fresh air. It's like, it's snowing outside. But while she's out there, she's like patting some of the dogs and also saying hello to a moose that wandered out of the woods. As a couple of Rowan's contacts sidle up and start offering advice.
No, this suddenly became like a much more threatening scene.
It's called Trial by Friend Group.
You're stepping out into cold.
Well, I figured they came to Rowan while Rowan is inside watching this.
No, you're getting interrogated, not me.
But they check with Rowan, right, first? Yeah?
No.
Okay, in which case...
Not if the whole point is that they think Rowan is getting attached.
Alright.
They would be scoping you out without their understanding.
Uh-huh. Well, in that case, what happens is a conversation between Ilya and some people who she doesn't like.
I was contributing.
Yeah. But
You're stepping outside. Perhaps things inside have become too heated.
huh? No, just they don't let the elk inside. Who's a good elk? Whoa, 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 whoa. It's a moose. It's not an elk.
But it is a moose.
No, the moose is inside on the tray. It's the little brown stuff. It's really good. Big idiot grin.
Change of topic.
I should get back inside soon, though. I've got to go speak to my husband.
What's the F from? I do not know this word.
It's okay. It's all the rage now. Pat, pat, pat. Try to bustle past quickly. And indeed, given who she is and that she's surrounded by hunting dogs, she probably does bustle past quite quickly. But in the process, let's see, according to this...
Stay. We should have talk.
Oh no, I've misread the rules here. The nerves have set in and the interrogated spouse is overcompensating. Set a stopwatch for 60 seconds and sing your own praises without stopping. If you repeat yourself more than twice, say something that your spouse finds irritating or make another player cringe or wince. -2 affection, +2 suspicion. Otherwise, nothing.
Okay.
Alright, well, I believe Fox, I have to sing my own praises as Ilya? Not a 20. Not a 20.
I'll be setting a timer on my phone, I guess. Is that 60 seconds?
Yeah. Yeah, it says 60 seconds.
Okay.
Sing my own praises. So they come out like,
Perhaps you should tell me about your relationship.
Oh. My relationship?
Your husband, as you have said.
Oh, I'm sorry. The prompt says your own praises? So I thought it was Ilya has to talk about how great Ilya is.
Your relationship with your husband.
Well, I mean...
Tell me why they love you.
I mean...
Tell me why they would pick you.
She spreads her arms wide, a full 7-foot expanse, like an eagle made for shot putting, and goes, "Look at this!" And quite frankly, I think the question is a little malformed, because the question should be, how is it that you found someone of all the possible options as perfect as Rowan to fit right under this arm? Look at this arm. Big curling bicep, this time rolled up, twisted out, in the cold, no sleeves, as she expresses this breath of warm air that creates a puff of smoke right in the face of this spy contact, who, I want to make it clear, she has no idea who she's talking to here. She just thinks someone's decided, I need to step 2. And which point she
this is the Duke of something you've heard of.
Oh, the Duke of something you've heard of. Oh, yes, of course. From the lesser somethings you've heard of. You helped there.
I don't know that you sung your own praises exactly for most of that time, but...
I hadn't gotten started.
Yes, I kept having to pause the timer and wait for you.
and there was a certain degree of interrupting, but I guess I don't eat the suspicion.
Probably not. I assume that after this goes on for a good 5 or 10 minutes more, the contact is just like, we are fine. She's an idiot.
Yeah, I actually think I do get 2 suspicion out of that just for being a gigantic bozo. Does that sound like a reasonable thing to you? Other player playing the game?
Actually, you did repeat, look at this.
I guess I did. Okay, cool.
Technically, I guess you do, Coffet.
Well, we love giving Fox an opportunity to go, well, technically, and here we are.
Well, also, we're prolonging our game a little bit.
I mean, technically speaking, we are at 40-ish minutes of another hour, so really, we're almost done.
Done with what?
2-hour-long videos is a good amount of eyes on the prize. Besides, we say, well, we'll be done in an hour, which means we'll be finished in an hour and 15, and by that I mean we'll be finished in an hour and 21. I just know our timekeeping skills.
I definitely didn't process any of that. I was too busy thinking about my stupid Russian accent. Moving on!
Moosing on! I will pull a card. The 4 of Diamonds. Are you more extroverted or more introverted than your spouse? Are you rubbing off on them? Are people noticing? Well,
we pulled this one last game.
Yep.
That's what you get when you shuffle the deck.
I'm throwing that one back and getting ready.
New one, new card.
All right, 10 of Clubs.
McLovin.
A distant elderly relative is here. And this is a voice I'm actually comfortable with. And they've suddenly decided to start telling stories about when you were a child. At length.
Oh, it's
what
great.
Are they revealing? Is your spouse going to make fun of you immediately after this?
Definitely.
What do you have to do to finally get your relative to stop? Well, the important thing is to know. We didn't actually know if we had a prince or a princess until she was about 7. At that point, there was a headbutting incident, and we all went, well, that's definitely a young prince at this point. But then a nursemaid, and there was a conversation, and there was all sorts of very frustrated people, and the decision was made that really we should just trust her to write it down herself, because no one wanted to check, because, again, of the headbutting.
We all know gender is stored in the head.
Of course gender is stored in the head. That's why elk have the antlers, young man.
Not a man, but go on.
All right. That's why man have the antlers, young elk. The point is that this Ilya you've married into, it's a fantastic deal because you just can throw a paper trap at her and leave her alone for 3 days and you won't have to worry about any of your marital duties. I don't know if she knows where her own bottom is, but that's really particularly remarkable because back when she was 8, she would walk around the palace going, "This is my bottom, this is my bottom,"
At which point Ilya tips over the couch.
It was presumably easy to find since it was the end that didn't have antlers.
Oh, oops, I knocked over the couch. Are you okay, Great Aunt Egony?
I'm dying.
Under the couch.
Oh no! Flips the couch back and immediately attends to Rowan and apologizes. There's now a horrible old dowager drape over the top of Rowan.
My hero.
Just a moment of eye contact, and
That was very dry.
Ilya actually has a little pinking moment. Like, never been referred to that way, even sarcastically. And it's like someone just stepped on a kink button for her. She's like, yeah, that was a joke. It'd be really stupid for anyone to say that seriously. Yeah.
Great Aunt Agony's in the background. I'm all right.
You don't need a spleen, really.
Okay, so I just destroyed a source of information for you, so the plot
Oh,
has gone down.
We had a point of plot finally. I was gonna save the world.
Look, what are the goals? Prevent war, get on boat, get girlfriends, don't fall in love. And I, for one, think we're perfectly on track with that. We've got so many points of affection we can blow. Go on, pull a card.
3 of clubs.
3 of clubs. Your spouse has a nickname that almost everyone close to them uses, but you're baffled the first time you hear it in conversation. What is it? Why didn't they tell you? +1 suspicion. But if the nickname you come up with together makes you laugh, +1 affection.
They shouldn't have told us about that until afterwards.
I mean, one of us has to read the book.
So if you had the relative, this is a nickname for me.
Yep, and of course this is going to be extra complicated because of course you don't know many people here that aren't your spy contacts who are just giving you cover, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe you overhear one of them using my codename.
Hey honey, weird question. Why are these people calling you Dulcet Eagle?
That's
who they're talking about when they were pointing over here and going, Dulcet Eagle's been really... Dulcet Eagle's really scored big with this lummox.
I'm impressed that you heard that.
Oh yeah, the lummox is like I'm not gonna miss when someone mentions a lummox. Those are amazing birds. Have you seen the greater lummoxes that fly out of here? She starts pointing over and explaining that like one of the birds that's on display out the window.
I believe I'm looking at one right now. Gotcha.
But Dulcet Eagle didn't make you laugh.
No.
Yep.
It's simply appropriate. That's a nickname that I was called by when I was younger, relating to a particular kind of whistle that I had learned to play when I was much, much younger. I couldn't do it again now, I'm sure, but the sound was a little like an eagle. It's a silly thing, really, but somehow it stuck. You wouldn't think so. It's not very catchy, is it? Not the kind of name that you just let slip out at a party.
What's Dulcet?
Safe. Oh, it's sweet.
Oh. Okay, my Dulcet Eagle.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna
We
pull
really don't have to.
Gonna pull a
I
card.
wouldn't recommend it.
Queen of Hearts, we have a challenge. Time to roll a d12. 7. We did that one already, so once again, we roll the 7.
We're gonna run out of trials.
I just rolled a 7 again. Trial by friend group. At this point, it's just the dogs sniffing around Rowan.
Oh, yes. Hello. Good doggies.
Okay, here we go.
I think actual Sweet Rowan really liked dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And Spy Rowan doesn't like dogs.
And
Dogs are very good at biting Spy Rowan.
Uh-huh. And also, like, Rowan's probably met the... Oh, wait, no, Rowan hasn't been to the lodge. That was the whole point of bringing
No,
him
not
on the
these
honeymoon.
specific ones.
Yeah, okay.
Or has fake Rowan been here before and was just lying their ass off? That's what they do.
That's true. The dogs might be really happy to see Rowan
Oh,
again.
yeah! No, it's... Don't. Leave it. Nope. I knew I shouldn't have distracted them with treats last time.
All right, Fox, you have 60 seconds
Oh, do what?
to talk about... You have 60 seconds to talk down to a dog and convince them to stop paying attention to you without repeating yourself.
This isn't gonna work.
This isn't going to work.
Yes, all right. Good dog. Who's a lovely hound? Screechy, screechy, screechy. Does that count as repeating? I don't think it should. I'm supposed to be talking myself up, but this is a dog. You don't need to talk yourself up to a dog.
It's true. You're doing better than I thought you would.
I'm
dying.
I'm dying.
Okay, we'll say that we eat the suspicion.
I don't think that was very fair.
No, but it was funny. So we lose 2 affection
Christ, there goes my plan again.
and go up to 5 suspicion.
What?
Yeah.
Why are we losing affection for this? That makes no sense. I mean, this definitely means that you've noticed the dogs, right?
Yeah, the dogs clearly recognize you. That's really cool.
And I noticed you talking to my contact outside.
Yeah. You think you've been rumbled. Well, you think you might have been rumbled. And that explains the lack of affection. You might be like, oh no, she's not a big helpful lummox who just wants to run away and have lots of weird sex. She's actually smart.
Not that I was interested in the weird sex or anything.
Well, you don't have to be interested in the weird sex. There are alternative ways to arrange all of this stuff. But I believe that means it's time to pull a card.
How about we don't fail this time?
Hello, Ellie.
It's a 2 and it's got shovels.
It's got two of spades. Huh. I think this one has to fall to me.
Why, what is it?
What do you think about what your spouse does for a living? Would you normally see yourself with someone like that?
I mean, it could be me as well, but I feel like it's your turn because the dog thing wasn't really a thing.
I mean, it absolutely was. The alternative is I use...
I did the childhood nickname, so it's your turn.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yep. That was my trial. It's just we rolled, and you're the one who got the friends interrogating you.
Okay, whatever.
But
it's your turn because I want it to be your turn.
okay, and this is a very flexible and fluid storytelling.
Play the game.
And indeed, I think that this is the point where we should probably be wrapping up the lodge, where like we've had this whole tumultuous thing. We might move on to the next scene. But as we're packing down for the evening and people are retiring to go to their beds, and Ilya flops forward face down onto the vast bed, arms outstretched, touching both bedside tables at once. She huffs an enormous sigh and says aloud, I never thought I'd wind up with a bookkeeper who takes notes. You know, that boy, I didn't find out until he retired from it. But he was the 3rd most important spy my mother had.
You know that's not what I do for a living.
You're talking.
You do realize I'm not a bookkeeper.
Talking to an unconscious
You
Ilya.
think I'm a bookkeeper?
To be fair, she thinks you're a spy.
No, she doesn't.
She says you remind her of this bookkeeper who was actually a spy. Isn't that funny?
I mean, that's different. And I think what she actually wound up saying was that I reminded her of her brother, Because that conversation got turned around a corner.
Okay, to clarify what she was trying to say is you reminded her of the Queen's boy, who was the clerk that followed the Queen around and in reality was actually the Queen's spy master.
Right. And Spy Rowan was definitely implying that they were fucking.
Yeah, and Ilya was like, probably not. I don't see what you're talking about.
No, Ilya missed it entirely.
Yep.
That's just text at this point.
Uh-huh. So, the lodge honeymoon is over?
This was not a honeymoon.
What? Okay, what? Hang on. Let's just quickly check with the unpleasable spy who's not actually here to have any fun. What did you actually want out of the honeymoon?
Oh, no, sorry, that was not an out-of-character comment. I was like, whatever this mess was, this was not a honeymoon.
Well, they might spend like a week or so up in the mountains.
I assume they do.
Just without any more of the card prompt stuff, because the whole point of the card prompts is that they're meant to be like happening at a party.
Yes.
All right then. In which case, what's the next thing you think?
Well, Rowan goes and sleeps on the couch.
He can sleep in the... Sorry, Rowan can sleep in the bed.
No, I can't! You're sleeping in all of the bed! And you're going to hear about it in the morning.
And for the rest of the week. Besides, you don't need to go sleep on the couch. You can go sleep on the spare beds. In this room. Because it's that fancy.
Whatever, don't ruin my bit.
Yeah. Alright then. In which case... Do we go for another event? Or...
Oh, I thought you were trying to wrap up. I thought that was the whole point of rushing into a close there.
Well, I mean, I just think that the actual lodge has kind of run its course, right? Like, we've had some important plot events happen. Characters have given up information. There's been an exchange of things.
Well, I mean, it's done now, so...
Oh.
I would have liked to go to a more natural end, but...
The problem is with this kind of storytelling, especially with the way you react to it, the more natural end is we run out of cards.
I would rather run out of cards than tell a story that left me dissatisfied.
The nature of this game is one where you're going to hit the score eventually, and there will be a wrap-up point that happens then. And I just wanted to make sure that we didn't just have, here are the two scenes of Ilya and Rowan.
Well, considering we just almost neutralized our score.
It's true. We kind of
I don't think we're in any danger anymore.
It's good. It's very safe. All we need to do now is turn all of these points into juicy plot.
We're doing our mid-story breakup.
Breakup?
Well, the bit where we become unhappy.
There's this whole side story here of Rowan like sneaking into town and going through these various like viewing microfilm and whatnot, while Ilya is like hunting or swimming in ice water or high-fiving a bear.
I have to assume something like that's going on in the background.
I mean, Rowan's the spy, right?
Rowan having extremely terse conversations with their contact for like, what were you doing out there? Who let my code name slip? Am I working with amateurs? Very cross. It's not really cross at you, but you're right here, so...
Yeah. And especially funny if it's like I was about to give voice to the spy who was trying to defend that of like, as is well was not at party, so does not know what is it. But then I'm just imagining you saying to that person like, I'm not mad at you, I'm not cross at you.
No, I am cross at you.
Yeah. But eventually, Ilya comes to Rowan after they've returned to the city with the sort of like, hey, so you remember my cousin we met at that party a little while ago?
Yes, I do recall making an arrangement to visit her estate sometime after the honeymoon.
Yeah, she left some letters, and she throws one out, and some other letters, and she throws another one out. And there's just imagine this gesturing of like leafing through a stack of papers. She really wants us to come and say hi. So...
That was always my intention. Is there some problem?
No, I guess not. Okay, I'll just go get... Who do I talk to arrange this kind of thing?
Normally your cousin?
No, I don't talk to my cousin. I talk to a person, and that person talks to her person who talks to her. I'm sure that's how this works. And she wanders off to arrange to make sure that there's another party.
Why did I marry someone who can only communicate in the language of parties?
Because the game system is about going to parties.
It's in character talent. Leave it alone.
It's very hard to tell where Rowan's disdain and Fox's disdain don't overlap.
Fox's disdain doesn't sound like Rowan.
Ooh.
No, it doesn't. It's a lot more voiced down there instead of up here.
Rowan's disdain rhymes with Fox's disdain. If Rowan hears someone refer to it as Utena,
that's different. And there will be goblin noises.
it's true, there would be flailing and goblin noises. So, the next event. Technically, it's a townhouse. Can you believe it? Because it's a house inside the town. It's about the size of a city block. It's 3 stories tall and it has a conservatory on top, which is full of gardens and has beautiful tropical birds fluttering around in it.
Now, look, if it's the size of a block, then it's an estate at the very least.
Sure. And they invite you in, and like it's just a little soiree. It's just a little family gathering. There's just you two and me and mine and about 6 or 7 others.
All of the cousins?
Not all of the cousins. Oh my god, no! We're not going to invite Christine. Ugh.
What was Ilya's horrible cousin's name? I can't remember now.
I can't remember either.
Nuts!
This is the problem of a heavily improv game, and one of the reasons why I will note storytelling systems out there that occasionally pure improv has its limits.
We could have also written shit down if we cared.
No, we can't. It's one of the rules of this game. You've got to make sure to keep the memory straight in your head.
That's only shit that you make up. You're allowed to write shit down that you establish about the game world out of character.
I'll double check that later. Anyway, shall one of us
The point is just that if you make a mistake about lies you've told, you have to lump it.
Yeah, that's true. Shall one of us pull a card?
Yeah, I think it's your turn, right?
Okay. The 6 of Diamonds. What new social circles has the marriage opened up? What kind of spaces would you have never moved through if you hadn't met them? Okay, so given the grotesque imbalance between the characters, I think this one's your problem. I don't think Rowan's opened up anything for Ilya. In fact, I think Rowan has technically been artfully closing things off.
Shut that door, shut that door. On the other hand, I see a lot of dukes and nearly dukes. People who are sons of dukes.
Mm-hmm. Ducks.
No.
D-U-X.
Isn't that just duke but fancy?
No, it's the title you bequeath someone that's used. You can use it to refer to a duke specifically, but also the son of a duke would be referred to in address not as duke such and such, but duck such and such.
I see.
Yep.
Well, that's not ambiguous and useless at all.
No, I don't know why we got this system from the French.
Anyway, Rowan is making a lot of contacts, and that is working out just great. Thank you for asking.
I guess I should pull another one because that's effectively yours.
I suppose so, and it's also a very easy answer, so...
Okay, 10 of Diamonds. Everyone's talking about you, which means everyone wants to talk to you. At this event, where it's a family gathering, they are just rapid firing at Ilya. You are a subordinate organ of the conversation. You're a thing they're talking about while they batter Ilya with questions about the courtship and what did you say and how did you get this to work, and you're getting to watch as Ilya just does not, like, for a start, she doesn't remember half of what she wrote in the letters. And what she remembers, it's one of those things like when you get someone to do an eyewitness report, what they notice tells you about the kind of person they are and the kinds of things that they think of as important, right? So the fact that she's like, oh, I can remember this and this and this date and whatnot. All right, sure, she knows a lot about dates and tides and shipping manifests and holiday locations outside of the country, but she doesn't remember your surname and she doesn't remember your family name. and she doesn't remember the side of the country you're from. And so all of this battering is happening, and you realize that, like, most of Ilya's family don't trust her and kind of don't like her. Like, the very solid tone in this conversation is, we can't understand how you got anyone. So they're hammering her with questions that take the form of, what's wrong with her, or how did you fool her? Or him. Because this gets us +1 plot, but +1 suspicion. So I have a suspicion that this is generating a lot of information from these fancy nobles who are treating you as if you don't exist. Also, 616, we're a Marvel Universe now. Contribution from the dog. Come on, buddy.
Surprise dog content. Just trying to work out whether Rowan is being very... They probably got to be being practical about this. The plot needs fucking help.
Well, remember, anytime something makes you feel affectionate towards the character, you can just add +1 affection.
I don't want affection. I want plot.
Okay, well, Fox is gunning for a plot victory.
I mean, ideally, I want less suspicion.
Yeah.
But that was never on the cards. And what I was thinking, like, a part of me definitely wants to have Rowan just, hang at the back of the crowd being like, yes, dear, tell them what you wrote in that letter. Yes. Tell them how you proposed eventually. Tell them the stationery you used when you wrote me that very important letter. Just being a real fucking bitch about it.
Rowan is causing problems on purpose.
But that seems very out of character, especially if the goal is to avoid suspicion. So as much fun as it would be, I don't think I can do it.
Well, also consider if suspicion gets deferred from Rowan onto Ilya. If the attention is there, that gives Rowan the chance to sneak out and investigate the house.
We share suspicion, though.
Sure, but, like, narratively speaking, the focus is on Ilya, which might mean that Rowan has the opportunity to sneak off and go...
Oh, sure, but what I'm saying is they're not going to be deliberately trying to put suspicion onto her. They're not going to cause problems on purpose.
All right, then. But I think that answers that prompt, yeah? Would you like to take a card?
5 of hearts.
5 of hearts. Your spouse does something that flusters you. Now, this is one area where this game does run into an interesting kind of gently bumpered wall.
Mm-hmm.
Because that prompt, your spouse does something that flusters you. What is it? And that suggests that it's up to Fox, the person who pulled the card, to explain what Ilya did. Which I don't think that if it was me having to come up with something for Rowan, that I would have difficulty. But I do know that you would probably rather not, as it were, write something for Ilya, yeah?
Well, you're just generally more comfortable with improv than I am.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's light touch, right? It could be the player actually explaining it.
Yeah.
If you and, I would be inclined to ask the person I was playing with, do you have a good idea for that? If I didn't have a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you have a good idea for that? There's a lot of stuff that could potentially fluster.
I think...
It's pretty difficult if Rowan's off in another room snooping.
I think during... Oh, no. That's even better. You're off in the room... Rowan goes off to another room and snoops. Which means Rowan is standing in a place to hear the ongoing conversation. Which is even better. Like, it's a servants' quarters thing. Maybe there's hearing bells or something around the place, so, like, the servants can tell when they're about to be called for. And so Rowan is, like, surveillancing the meal while this barrage of questioning is going on. And gets to hear, at some point in the conversation, Ilya just stopping and saying, and like, look, I mean, you're right. The letters, I don't think I pulled because of the letters. Don't call it pulled. That's grotesque. Ugh. Is she a bar tab? Ugh. I don't... At that point, Ilya hits the table with one hand and you can hear a fork being waved. It's like, twing, you hear the tink, the tines. Listen, you can all be awful to me for as long as you think I'll put up with it. But one, stop talking about Rowan like Rowan's not here. Oh.
Shit!
But stop talking about Rowan like Rowan's not here. And also, don't make it sound like Rowan's deficient. Sure, the letters, but the thing... Ignore the letters. The letters are stupid anyway. It's just the same stuff you all did. You threw out 1,000 letters hoping to find someone who'd be stupid enough to marry you without seeing you, or at least come over and throw some party so you didn't have to worry about it for a while. It's dumb. But since we've met, Rowan is adorable, and Rowan is very smart and very sweet and very focused on hearing what people have to say. Rowan is someone who cares about understanding the world around them, which is more than I could say for any of you. And then she says a horrendously unprincessly swear. And there's a in the servants' quarters where Rowan is, someone faints.
Well, I don't know about flustered, but it's definitely building affection.
Well, for that we get +1 affection and +1 suspicion.
Christ.
Because I think Ilya just correctly outed, like, sure, the character I romance via letters doesn't seem to match up with the person that I've met, but I quite like the person that I've met.
I don't feel like that information was communicated.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
you
not
were
that
very
good.
clear about... I didn't really pay much attention to who I was writing letters to.
Yeah, I don't know the person in the letters, but
Yeah.
the person I've met I really like. Alright then. Want to pull a card?
Which is very sweet. Now, did I get the affection independently of the prompt, or...?
No. Oh, do you want to add a +1 affection to that?
Yes.
Yeah. Glad to know.
I like a full-throated defense. And also Rowan is definitely, like, hurrying back to, like, gotta go and bail out that moose.
Don't talk about Rowan like they're not here. Like, so talk about Rowan like Rowan's not here.
Shit!
And no one at the table noticed and then said, Rowan's not here.
Running back. Yes, hello, I'm here.
What's your card?
6 of spades.
6 of spades. Why weren't you already married before this? If you were, why didn't it last? Does this partnership seem better or worse than you probably would have ended up with naturally? Alright, Spymaster, this one seems to unpack itself pretty easily for you. Why weren't you married before Ilya?
That's perfectly normal for a young person of no particularly fantastic birth rank to be unmarried at this age. We're not that old. Does that seem unusual to you? I don't think that seems unusual.
Alright then. Like that seems a pretty much given.
No conversation?
I don't know, like, there's no reason for you to prompt to say that aloud. And
Oh, I guess so.
yeah, it's
Well,
not,
if I was supposed to be answering it out of character.
yeah, that's the thing. It's a question that has no natural tags to it. It has no way of, like, it doesn't necessarily imply that a conversation is happening or an event is happening. It's one of the questions that's just there to get you to talk about the relationships between the characters.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, we both know why we weren't married yet, right?
Yeah.
I'm a spy, you're a princess.
Yeah,
And an idiot.
And Ilya mailed like 12 people the first couple of versions of this letter. And you're the one that answered.
Because she's an idiot.
Yeah. Well, and also, she doesn't want to be here. She does have ulterior motives. That suspicion is not... You think the suspicion is all about... Like, Rowan is like, the suspicion is rising. It's all about me. Not realizing that, yeah, the princess is planning on abandoning the country.
Well, yeah, but she was very sincerely trying to get married to someone to that end, right?
Yeah. Alright then. Well, in this case...
She was trying very genuinely to get fake married.
So we have a 7 of clubs. goodness! Look at the time. What did you two get caught up in that entirely distracted you from your plans?
Well, this is coming up at an odd moment. What comes up at a dinner party full of your awful relatives that takes us away from our goals?
Well, I mean, hypothetically, if, say, you got so enraptured by the nice things I was saying, you might get distracted and instead spend the time actually hanging out with me.
Oh, well, I did say I was running back once I
Yeah.
felt bad about that, yes, but...
Yeah. I mean, that's an option. If Ilya's threatening one of her cousins with a fork over talking
No,
about...
I have no problem with that part. That part's nice.
In which case, this is going to give us -1 plot, +1 affection.
Also, your cousins keep calling me she.
They do.
And
don't
I
they,
think they shouldn't. I think that's rude.
When Rowan says that, Ilya pulls out a little notepad and flips it open and writes that down. But when Rowan peers over her shoulder or up under her arm to look at the notepad, because of course, like, she's not hiding it well, but it's quite clearly the notepad of, like, what pronoun do I use? And there's this big list and some of them being crossed off. Like, and there's this one that's got, like, one of the ones with an X, question mark, question mark. Those are fun, question mark.
How clearly is this legible?
I think it's really legible. I think she's got beautiful cursive handwriting.
Oh, I just meant, like, you know, she's not being subtle about writing something in a notebook, but it's meant to be you can read the entire fucking page.
She's trying to be surreptitious, but she's a 7-foot-tall moose woman. So Rowan, Spy Master, can just tell. Like, Rowan can look at the impressions on the flipped over page and be like, oh, I can read that.
Just use they.
Huh?
Just use they. It's fine.
Aw. So that's really sweet, and I wanted to give you a point of affection for it, but the problem is that puts us at 10.
Pronouns win!
Do you want to pronouns for the win?
Doesn't feel right, does it?
I don't know what feels right, and I don't want to push it.
Let's leave it at that.
Like, at the best times, I don't know what feels right. I am a deeply, deeply flawed person for understanding the vibe.
Rowan puts a hand on the notebook and says, "You're doing fine. You don't actually need to worry too much."
One of the other notes on that page is, do, and there's a blank spot, know about the plot to Bolt in the Night.
Oh no.
And that blank spot is what prompted the they, she, her, him, they, xer. Here?
Well, now I have information.
I think that's good.
I'm going to not see that, and instead, Rowan will just lightly peck Ilya on the cheek.
Aw, you're really pushing for this affection win, aren't you?
I just want some people in this room to feel worse about themselves right now. Not you.
Now, here's the other thing. Boiling points.
Oh, so we wouldn't want anybody to think we weren't a happy couple.
Boiling points are to be handled, quote, when you get a game... you may hit a boiling point and a game-ending roll before you're ready to stop playing. Follow your heart and just fudge the results if you want to keep going.
So we knew that.
All right. But hypothetically, when we hit 10, we've hit a boiling point.
How is that meant to play out? Is it just, this is how it ends, or is there a game end mechanic?
So there are 3 different boiling point options. There's one for affection, one for plot, and one for suspicion.
Obviously, yes.
We roll die, and then the result of those die gives us a prompt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we work out that prompt if we want it. Still, do you want one more, or do you want more at this house party?
I mean, that kind of feels like the useful point of this. Like, Rowan was off doing spy business, came back because Ilya was cool and stuff.
Well, I mean, part of the point of this game system in and of itself is that it's meant to make telling this kind of story mechanistic. It's meant to take a lot of the effort away from
Yeah.
you. And
This is meant to generate one of these stories.
the core of what I've been doing here, the thing I've been enjoying, is just dicking around with you. The fact that it doesn't produce a very well-structured story isn't important because it's not this isn't a formal structured game generator. This is a play experience.
I mean, look, a generated story is never going to be as well structured as a properly planned story. Said looking straight down the barrel of current machine generation technology.
I like how you put your hands on this either side of your face and pointed them at me like I've got co-pilot.
No, not you, no. You're not a Libot wanker.
It has been a rough couple of days in the marking binds, let me tell you.
Yes. No, I was merely meant to... I was just trying to pass comment on how people should not trust generators to make stories for them. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, a generator making a play experience that is also a story, that's a different thing. That works.
Naturally.
These are different art forms.
Now, I do like the idea that Rowan's ability to research things keeps getting ruined by Ilya not trying.
Do you think this scene wants anything more?
I don't think it does.
Okay. I feel good about ending this scene.
And at this point, we will have run up to an hour and 15.
By the way, thank you for checking in with me on whether I wanted to end this scene this time.
Uh-huh.
That was an immediate result based on my request, and I appreciate it.
But we're in an hour and 15, like I joked. Which means this is probably going to be the end of this session soon.
I'm good with that.
In which case I'd ask, do you want to do a boiling point and wrap this story up? Because we're probably not going to revisit Rowan and Ilya for a while. Or do we leave it open to the audience to tell us if they want us to come back to this pair of fools?
Let's see what the boiling point would be, and if it inspires us, we shall use it. And if it doesn't feel right, we shall extend the story.
Alright, so the way boiling points work is you pick a stat that's going to be the problem. Now, obviously, plot is not going to happen, so I'm going to describe to you the options we can get in plot, so you can understand what's going to happen when we do a boiling point for either affection or suspicion.
Is it not the one that hits 10? Is that?
Yeah, that is the one. But
yeah, so it's going to be affection for us.
It's going to be affection, but just to give you an idea of what the rolls can be like.
Okay.
For plot, if you roll doubles, it's the end. Perfect victory, complete and total success. Your plans have come together and borne fruit. Describe how the couple's plot has resolved and through, and how together this achievement has been the centerpiece of their time together. Okay? Difference of 1 to 3, the end. You've achieved your goal, or at least you have everything in place to carry it out. But now what? If suspicion is high, is the aftermath of what you've done enough to finally expose you? If affection is high, are you reluctant to part? Is victory everything you've ever wanted, or do you still yearn for more?
I think I get the idea.
Yeah.
We don't need to run through these.
Now, the last two, however, have the mechanical effect of remove plot tokens equal to the difference and keep your eyes on the prize, return to play. Or, if you get the extreme opposites, it's remove 7 plot tokens, add 3 suspicion tokens, and keep your eyes on the prize and go back to play.
It would be very funny if we bounced between 2 boiling points.
Exactly.
Well,
So,
roll it, let's see.
Let's...
I mean, put us up to 10, it's official now.
Yeah. Okay. Ba-ba-da-da. A 10 in affection. Just gonna move that. Make it right. Make it perfect. It's technically not aligned on the bottom level, I know.
You should definitely align it center and give it a fixed width. Next session.
Yeah, sure. The make it right, make it perfect is a Dan Olsen reference.
Okay.
As he was badly setting up a whiteboard. Alright then, here we go. Doubles or close. Ooh, a difference of 4 to 6.
That seems big.
You've grown deeply attached to each other, that's true. But the partner who rolled lower has come to their senses. This can't happen, at least not now. Not when you still haven't achieved your goals and you still need to navigate the traps and pitfalls of your situation. How do you convince your partner of the same? Remove affection tokens equal to the difference you roll and keep your eyes on the prize, which would be -4. And I rolled lower.
Okay, now technically, you're the low roll.
Yep.
But, I mean...
I have a plan. I have the bolt.
But here's the thing, I have a much better reason to be like, okay, I have to tell you something that will... I have to give you the plan.
So here's my thought, right? You remember how in Scrubs there's that piece of music they play and they sadly pull away from JD? Mm-hmm. I think there's a moment where Rowan is about like, okay, I have to tell you the plan, da-da-da-da-da, and Rowan is about to explain everything to Ilya, and then Ilya's like, no, look, this is clearly very important, and I need to tell you something ahead of time, that I'm actually planning on ditching you and fleeing the country because everything sucks and there's a war coming, and I think that's unfair to you because you're so nice and I like you so much. So what I'd like to do is to make sure that before I do the bolt, I make sure everything, you have as perfect a honeymoon period as possible. And she thinks she's being super noble. And then she walks away doing, as the JD music plays, but in the background, Rowan is sitting there fuming. Like, do you have any idea how much more important what I was going to say, you idiot?
You know that this was after, like, hours of agonizing.
Yeah.
Private, like, I
montage.
Jeopardized the mission, but I can trust her. She's had every chance to be awful. She's worthy of trust.
Looking at the...
I shouldn't string her along. There's no reason she needs to get hurt as a result of this. And if I don't stop the war from breaking out, she's gonna be up against the wall. She's a literal princess. I need to do something to make sure that if this does go wrong, she'll be safe. And if that means revealing the most vulnerable parts of myself to her, then I will have to do that.
So I thought at first this was going to be like sad montage of looking out the window as the rain fell on it.
No.
But no, this is a conspiracy board. This is a court board. as Rowan turns the guest room into like hypergraphia. Like, what do I do here? What are all the angles I need to plan? And then she goes and ruins.
Conspiracy room. It's like setting up little trinkets from around the house, like they're on a chessboard. Like,
yeah.
This is the Duke from here, and then that contact from the east that I'm not sure about. Like, it looks like they've been playing a war game or something.
Yeah,
except all the tokens are like
salt shakers,
an apple and a little ceramic hedgehog,
and Ilya walks in.
Keeping this hedgehog.
And Ilya walks in and accidentally knocks all of it over when she comes and gives her sad confession.
And then the credits play without the normal ending theme. It's just a shot of the hedgehog.
So yeah. I think that works.
That's a great end of season cliffhanger for this one. I think we'll be back
We're
here.
going to be back. We're going to be back. Yeah, so that's Eyes on the Prize, everyone. This game is really good. Like, even with the limitations it has, it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, I apologize for the kind of rough points where I can't let things slide and I have trouble getting into the improv. But overall, it's very fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it isn't our type of game normally. We're big structural
That's
game
true. We're
dorks.
extremely number-focused role players.
And I'm, at the moment, kind of more DM than player. So I know there are points where I was like, well, someone needs to set the rules of what's going on, and I just did that.
Yeah, but I'm also incredibly tired, so I just let you do that a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like, this is not you asserting yourself unduly, let me tell you.
Anyway, I had fun. Thank you so much for playing this game with me.
Thanks for playing.
All right, and thank you all for giving us your attention.
Thank you for joining us.
Happy Pride, everyone.